All right, guys, here's the gear for today. Going to use the same equipment. The Wickham soap, 1912 was their series here, and this is the Russian leather scent. And as one of you correctly put it in the last time I did this comment, it's a take on the Imperial Leather scent that's existing already and very reputable, very enjoyed by many. This gave me a very nice shave yesterday in terms of using the slurry lather method, and that is what I'm testing it last time and today. And I just happen to have some UK products on hand. Wilkinson Swords, kind of a UK company, at least at one point it was. Wilkinson Sword made the sticky razor, which I'll be using again. And it's already got the blade in it. But this particular blade is one that was made in Germany, so I wrote German on it. And it's got one dot because I've used it once. The Kent plush Silvertip Badger. Some would call it floppy. Those are the people who like higher backbone brushes, like the finest Badgers that have a really short loft. You know, that's one of the tricks you can do with a brush. Let's say you've got one of these and you want to experiment with maybe tightening it up a little bit. Well, you can go out and buy some silicone or rubber O-rings that would fit right here. And then you can hold them like this and I usually will bring the O-ring over the handle. And then, depending on the thickness of your O-ring, how many O-rings you put in. One time I think I found an O-ring that maybe was about 2.5 millimeters, maybe 3. And so I was able to put 1 or 2 on a certain brush. And so it increased the depth, in essence, of how much the brush would be normally pushed into the handle, shortening the loft. And with that, it firmed it up a little bit more, and it would let me experiment. And that's terrific if you have set your own knot in your own custom handle and you realize that maybe you've set it a little too high in the handle, and it's maybe more floppy than you might like. Well, stick an O-ring on there, maybe stick 2 O-rings, use it some, figure out how many O-rings it is that makes you happy. And now you know how deep you need to, once you yank the knot out, how deep you need to drill the handle a little bit more so that you have it set at your correct height that you prefer. On those 2-band brushes, I've got Sterling's old one right here. On this 2-band, usually with these, I like to have them set as low as possible. Other people like them a little bit higher. But that's just how I am. And then the good part about it is, let's say you try, this guy's shedding a little bit. Let's say you try a couple of O-rings, doesn't make you happy. And then you can very easily remove the O-rings, go back to the way the brush was, and you haven't really changed anything. Now, of course, the parentheses around that whole little statement is that your brush knot would have had to have been set with silicone, something akin to that. If it's set with epoxy, then you can't keep both the knot and the handle. You're going to have to destroy one of them. And I'm sure this was set with epoxy. And so as you can see, I've got these rubber bands because I don't like the shape, this goblet style shape handle, extreme goblet style. It's a very traditional shape, great probably for face latherers who work it up on their face, but I did not enjoy holding it when I'm a bowl latherer and just in general. My hands just don't match it. And so I someday maybe I'll break this nice little handle off. I wish I didn't have to do that. It's a nice high quality. It's got a great gloss to it, even through all these years where I've had it. It's really cool and I like it, but I might have to. I love this brush knot a lot. I like this Silvertip. It's really nice. So someday I may have to break that guy. All right, you can do it different ways. You can saw into it with a Dremel tool because you've got a a column of emptiness in there where the brush has, the knot disc, the glue disc has been pushed in, and you want to kind of cut in there until you get to that, then maybe cut all the way around it, and then the safest way is just gradually remove pieces so that you don't damage the brush knot. With these hard plastic ones, I have also, I've had one that was a little bit longer, and I actually put it on the corner of a brick, and then I struck the other side with a hammer. It was great because the shock just shot through and just broke the thing right off. It saved me so much time. Now, once I got close, and I was actually kind of chipping away using the brick and hammer method, the edge of the brick. But once I started to get close to where the knot was down in there, I had to back off and use more safe tools to get through to the knot. All right, so there's a little bit of lesson on that today. You never know. I never know what little side tangents I'll bring to you guys. I'll just kind of bring them as they come, and hopefully they help you. I've had remarks over the years that you guys often learn things, so I'm happy about that. I've got 1.5 days of growth, probably, is what I have. We're going to repeat. When I used the Wickham soap the last time, it was on a lot of stubble, and that got in the way of that slurry generating right away. So that's an important thing. I need to document that on my Slurry Lather webpage that I'm going to put out at some point. Where is, if you got a lot of stubble, if you wait to shave, then maybe the Slurry Lather is not going to be as good for you, because the brush just kind of gets caught up in the stubble, and it doesn't really do maybe what it's meant to do, to give you that nice slurry lather. But the fact that this soap had not been used very much in a long time, a couple of years probably, 4 or 5 years, honestly, could be maybe more. It has obviously shrunk, and that hasn't changed. It has expanded a little bit, but with the coconut oil and with the fact that it's a vegan recipe here, it took a lot. You saw me loading maybe 120 swirls last time I used it. So we'll be interested to see what it'll be like today. Let me get my face wet. I read the description of the Imperial Leather and the scent that this has, and sure enough, I picked out blindly last time that it was that leather type scent along with some florals, and that was exactly in the write-up. Of course, I knew it was leather by the title. Okay, so the brush has been soaking for long enough. Let's just do swirls until we kind of see a little bit of a lather developing, a little bit of that slurry developing, and then that's when we'll stop ish. Shake a little bit. 1, 10, 20, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's about half as much as before. As you can see, we do have some overflow. Vegan overflow is sometimes a little drier than tallow overflow, the froth here. But I still use it kind of for the same purpose. Clean my face a little bit, enjoy the scent a little bit prior to the shave. Start to dispel some of those oils. And we're getting into the season now where I prefer to start using hot water. And when I say that, I mean I will, when I lift my little lever, instead of just going to the cold side, I start going to the hot side. And by the end of the shave, we will often get to a warm point, to a lukewarm, because it takes a while for the hot to get to you. And then that makes it so that my ending part is a lukewarm rinse instead of just an ice cold rinse. Because sometimes when your bones are cold, at least a lukewarm lather is better than a freezing one. Okay, and I'll put a little bit of water on my face. But this is a very slick base. Yeah, see, that's very different than how everything started last time. As you can see, some of the water has gone away here, so I'm going to add that. Go for maybe 20 more swirls in the soap tub. There we go. There we go. And that's all it takes for the slurry lather method. And the sticky. I was looking into getting a lapel mic, a lavalier, so that the echoing in this room here, because it's all hard walls, you know, sheetrock in a small confined area. I was hoping to improve the sound quality. But I found that my phone does not support external microphones. Either USB ones, you know, that the UPC has, the USB-C. I have a port for that, and I also have a port for a 3.5 millimeter jack, and neither of them will do it. Now, there are some apps I think that I could download that would record the audio, but I kind of want everything to be all in one, right? So, did we get everything? Yeah, we did. Very nice. It only feels a little bit slick at this point. Usually it's after that second pass where you really start to feel the soap be different on your face during the rinse. So with this brush, see, the badgers don't hold as much water as the boars do. So that's why I had to add some more in. And this is a wonderful blade when used with this razor. Now, since this is made in Germany, you know, I wonder if they designed this one in conjunction with the Wilkinson Sword Sticky, you know, or maybe the specs of the Wilkinson Sword blades were shared, you know, with the factories in Germany as well as the ones in India. Nice little movement there. Fairly slick, but a little drying. Now, right now, when I use my fingers and they're slightly wet, I do feel a good slickness there. Not great, but good. Looks like I needed to have done a little bit more loading. I probably would have had a little better second pass there. So we'll get a little bit more for the third. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of water, add that back into the brush. So yeah, the Badger works well for the slurry method, and so does Wilkinson Sword. You just have to, if the soap has sat for a while, maybe load it for a little bit longer than other soaps. And by the fact that it is a truly hard soap, it's not a crope like you have with Sterling or Bear Stern Man or Mammoth. it is a hard puck, and so that may be part of what causes it to need a little bit more load time. And yeah, the scent is very present during the shave. I like it. And there we go. I think some of the other blades that I've used with the sticky were probably a little better than this particular Wilkinson sword blade. Run some water in it and give it a shake after I have opened it up a little bit. Let it dry out there. Now I'll give myself a good rinse, clean out my gear. If I did use this soap over and over, it would certainly grow and fill up that gap that you saw earlier that was around the perimeter. It would definitely do that, and you wouldn't have any problems with the soap. Never rotated or anything. It stuck pretty well in there, but perhaps a little bit of the water in the brush could have overflowed out of the soap area into the sides. But it wasn't too much. So very good, very good. Now, what do I feel like using? Last time I used the Thayer's Witch Hazel, and oh, you know what? Let's go. This is kind of a vintage scent here, and so, well, no, Irish Moose. I don't know if that would go with the leather. Yeah, I think that would really overwhelm the leather. I don't think that would go very well. I do have this Jeris Musk for men, and we know that leather and musk go well together. Yeah, that's compatible. And I definitely need to use some of this up. It's pretty cheap at the beauty supply stores. Now, I do have the sting of an alcohol-based. It has very little skin food for me. But out of the few that I tried, this one I actually decided to keep. I like it all right. Jeris, Jeris is the brand. Aftershave cologne. You know, this is kind of what the barbers have to choose from when they are gonna buy some stuff and give it to their customers after a shave. That's what that's from. All right, yeah, that's compatible with the leather. Oh, that's actually pretty nice. And this Russian leather scent from Wickham, it's a nice illustration for me, in my mind, of what florals, how they can be a supporting player. I usually don't like the kind of florals that are in here, but because that Russian leather is so strong and the florals that they pick to go with them, they really work together. And so to me, it's not a feminine scent at all, probably due to the leather component being so strong. But yeah, I really like it, and I think florals can be a great part of even a masculine scent when they're done correctly. And I think this is a good example. All right, well, I think we're good to go. Didn't really need to rinse my bowl out too much. Because I did have to sprinkle a little bit of water back on the Badger to keep it hydrated, and I think I would have had a more luxurious experience during that second pass rinse, and the third pass lather probably would have been a little bit more complete, a little bit more mature if I had loaded for a little bit longer. So 70 was not long enough for this particular soap. All right, well, there we go. Thanks so much for watching. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.